Today, we're looking at a brown ink by Montegrappa Coffee Brown. Hi, I'm Adam, and I'm an ink guy. I get inks, test them, and share the results with you. Now, there's timestamps down below so that you can skip around to the parts you're most interested in, but if you've got the time, I'd appreciate you checking out the entire video. You can also follow me over on Instagram, and if you're new here and like fountain pen inks, I would invite you to subscribe. I do a new ink review daily. In order to make sure I have a range of experience with this ink, I do the writing samples. I then put the ink into this Duke 209 with a Fude nib. I used it to write for a day, and then used it to take the notes for this video. For the first writing sample, I always use Clairfontaine, Tomoe River, and Rhodia paper. There is an additional writing sample that'll happen later in the video. Now, let's look at the writing sample. I picked this ink up in sample form, and to keep my writing samples consistent, I use a Jinhao 159 with a Goulet 1.1 stub, a Jinhao X450 with a Goulet medium, and a Jinhao X750 with a Goulet extra fine. Let's take a look at the Clairfontaine. No bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, and no shade. The extra fine has no feather spread, that's backwards. This is the extra fine down below. It's mismarked. The extra fine has no feather spread, halo sheen. It does offer a bit of shading. Quick starts lighter, gets darker as it goes. Brown starts darker, works its way lighter. Overs lighter to darker, thus a very dark word, 8 seconds to dry. Medium has no feather spread, halo sheen or shade, 11 seconds to dry. The scrubby of both shows really no color variation, although the extra fine we did get quite a bit. Yeah, here I marked it. I did them backwards. Tomoe River, no bleeding, normal Tomoe River ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, and no shade. The extra fine is significantly lighter with no feather spread, halo sheen, or shade, 15 seconds to dry. Medium is significantly darker, same tone as the stub, with no feather spread, halo sheen, or shade, 20 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both shows no color variation. We didn't expect it, and we didn't get it. Rhodia, no bleeding or ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, and no shade. The extra fine has no feather spread, halo sheen, but it does offer shading, like the letter K is darker than the rest of the word. Brown starts much darker, but right in the middle of the W to N, it gets a little bit lighter. Same happens from the Z to the Y on lazy. Over starts light and works its way dark. 10 seconds to dry. Now medium's much darker than the extra fine, same tone as the stub, no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, 13 seconds to dry. The scrubby of the extra fine shows us some color variation. We got some. Medium shows none. And we got none. I agree with Vita that we learn a lot by doing multiple chromatographies. The one on the left is done the way it's supposed to be done. I put a line of ink down and immediately put it into water for 10 to 15 seconds. Now, there's a couple tones here that I'm afraid might not come through on camera, but I'm going to try real hard to describe them. We get this gray at the bottom, which you'll be able to see, this brown that pushes its way up, which you'll be able to see, a faint line of a yellow, and then a very, very faint pink above that yellow. It's really quite interesting. The one on the right, I let dry for 10 minutes before I dunk it into water. That line on the bottom is much darker, much more there. We still see some of the brown push up, we see some of the yellow push up, and we only see the faintest spots of a tiny bit of those pinks. Resistance tests are done to see how well this ink can be expected to perform on the page, and more importantly, how hard it might be to clean from your pen. I let the smear dry for 3 days before testing it. Looking at the highlighter, we see that that extra fine goes to about a fine. We see that there's a little bit of blurriness that occurs, but it doesn't make the notes unreadable. I wouldn't use it for my notes, but you absolutely could. You're not losing it. Water is reactivating and lifting this off the paper. Now you can start to see where it's getting ready to show some of the white of the paper, but not quite. It just might not do enough. Pen Flush does everything that water does, slightly better. We definitely see an area, that whole upper right area, that we're getting ready to get the white of the paper. it is going to do it. It just needs more than 30 seconds, and it might need a little bit of elbow grease. But there's the surprising part. 1/3 bleach solution. It did not completely remove this from the page. It did not make it go away. It does make me suspect that there might be a little bit more work that goes into getting this out of your pen. But I'm not too concerned with that with Montegrappa inks. But just be prepared to use a 1/3 bleach solution and to quite possibly then flush it with water immediately. If it's that aggressive, then put it in, if you're worried, put it into a less expensive pen to try it out first. I test ink viscosity or flow by using a tilt test, and I've linked that video and put that in here for you. Now for the inks I've tested, I have found an average viscosity of 2.5, with the realm of normal being from 2.1 to 2.9. Montegrappa Coffee Brown has a viscosity of 2.81, making it on the high side of normal, but still normal. To find my average dry times, I use my writing samples done on Clairfontaine, Tomoe River, and Rhodia paper. I average all of those. Now, for the inks I've tested, I found an average dry time of 17 seconds, with the realm of normal being from 13 to 21 seconds. Montegrappa Coffee Brown has an average dry time of 13 seconds, making it normal. Right on the edge, but normal. Instead of finding inks that look like Montegrappa's Coffee Brown, I would prefer to find an ink that complements its color on the page. And here I went for a very nice turquoise. Diamine's Havasu Turquoise. The second writing sample is done on P. Berger, black and red, and Levenger paper. How does this work out with some cheaper school student paper? So this is French ruled. It's a P. Berger. A lot of bleed spots. Makes for a lot of ghosting. Can't really use the back of the page. The 1.1 has a lot of feathering. It has no spread, halo, sheen, or shade. The extra fine is the same tone as the stub, with no feather spread, halo, sheen, no shade, 6 seconds to dry. The medium, I have this backwards. The extra fine, I gotta remember that I have these backwards. The extra fine has no feather spread, halo, sheen, or shade, 3 seconds to dry. The medium, and that's where I caught myself because looking at my notes. The medium has some feathering, just like the stub did. It has no halo, or no spread, halo, sheen, or shade, 6 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show us no color variation, and we didn't get any. Black and red notebooks. No bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo, sheen, and no shade. The extra fine is quite a bit lighter than the stub, with no feather spread, halo, sheen, or shade, 6 seconds to dry. Medium is a darker tone, same tone as the stub, with no feather spread, halo, sheen, no shade, 8 seconds to dry. Scrubby for both show us no color variation. We didn't expect it, and we didn't get it. And last up is Levenger. No bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo, sheen, no shade. Extra fine is the same tone as the stub, with no feather spread, halo, sheen, or shade, 7 seconds to dry. Medium, same tone as the stub and the extra fine, with no feather spread, halo, sheen, or shade, 10 seconds to dry. Scrubby for both show us no color variation. We didn't expect it, we didn't get it, and that is all that I have for the writing samples. So what do I think of Montegrappa's Coffee Brown? Don't be worried about how dark it is when it goes down on the page. It lightens up as it dries, but don't use it in like a Duke 209 Fude. It puts down an incredible amount of ink and is super dark then. So what nib and pen give the best writing experience with this ink? A dry fine or dry medium really makes the name of the ink and the color that goes down a perfect match, and that's what I want to use it in. If you've made it this far, and according to my analytics, 50% of you aren't, and you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up. If you are not subscribed, I would invite you to subscribe, and thanks for watching.